Hello, welcome to Feedback for the week of November 17th. I'm Adam Sessler. Joining me today, Abby Happy, Matt Kyle, and Jake Gaskill. The man who has reviewed 2 games that we're talking about in today's show.
Yep, it was a busy week.
Which means that you actually weren't playing Black Ops.
I was not.
Which may mean it was only you. You haven't been playing it either.
No, I've been playing something else.
Something else that we'll be talking about on the show shortly.
What about me? Ask if I've been playing.
So, Abby Happy, have you been playing the Black Ops?
Already prestiged.
You already prestiged.
Which
Last
is
week.
more impressive when we're taping this.
Yeah. Versus when this is going to be seen.
Well, by the time we get through this, I'll probably be on my second.
Just
How
sitting
about
here.
that?
Just sitting
When
here.
did you hit your prestige?
Last Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, how many hours have you put in to be able to accomplish that?
Oh, that took less than a day. Now I'm probably at 30-something hours.
Do you mentally prepare? I mean, do you really just sit down and just play?
Yeah, I just sit down and play.
Yeah, that's called preternatural. I would.
There's
I mean,
always
at least
called
one
addiction.
playing, so
Yeah.
I always have someone to
That's true.
join.
That's
Plus,
true.
I got really far into Assassin's Creed, so I've been doing things.
Right. So this hasn't been at the exclusion of other important duties in life,
has
such
not.
as other games.
No.
That's good to know.
And then when I get stressed out, I play the Pinball FX game, and then
That's
I'm
good.
happy.
Assassin's Creed and Black Ops. It's like the speedball of gaming. Well, at least you're still standing here to tell us all about it. Speaking of Black Ops, Abby, did
What? Was it big? Did it
Black
sell
Ops
a
do
lot?
well?
Yeah, I think it did, actually.
Like how much?
360 million in first day sales.
And I believe that's just U.S. and U.K. numbers.
Yeah.
360 million.
5.6 million copies.
Okay, that's more than Modern Warfare 2. Now, the thing that everyone puts it up against is the Harry Potter book. Did that take out Harry Potter?
Somebody
Anyone know?
needs to take
That
out
take
Harry
the
Potter.
It's a lot of money.
believe,
That's
but
half.
Does it matter? Because the game's $60 and Harry Potter's was like $20.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to figure out. If Harry Potter was sold at a premium.
Divide it by
It wasn't for $60 when I bought it.
No, I don't think it was at $60. Man, those would be good words in that book.
It might have been 30. I mean, it's a hardcover book. It's like $25-30.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot. Oh, wow. Okay, 5.6 million copies sold.
And we pissed off Cuba.
I was about to say. I mean, when I saw that sequence for the first time, first they said, "Well, that's not the real Castro." Sorry about that spoiler. If I ruined the first hour of the game for you, then yeah, you're behind the curve. Yeah, because you try to shoot Castro, so I guess that's what upset
Because,
them.
spoiler alert, Castro didn't die yet.
No,
Yeah.
So
I mean,
we're-
he's
trust
alive.
me, I think he's even tried. We've had so many
Yeah.
attempts. I mean, yeah, Raoul's kind of running the country right now.
I just love
but
that they were like, you finally did something that you've been trying to do in real life forever. That's why they're so upset. Like, yeah, that's it. Get to live out that
I
fantasy.
mean, but I guess if they had like a true Black Ops mission, which is like them trying to put the exploding cigar into the box, which still strikes me as one of the most preposterous.
That would have
There's
been
also
hilarious.
the seashell landmine trick they tried to pull.
Yeah,
on
there's
the
that. Oh, and they tried to trick him into or get his mustache to fall off. They thought that he would
hair
lose,
remover. Yeah,
lose currency with his
Everyone's
people.
power is derived
that
from their
was
mustache.
true.
Oh, I
No,
know.
I know.
That
I
was
know.
true.
But the thing is that
No, if he lost his beard, he would have lost
think
his
so?
powers. Yes, that's true.
His powers. Yes, because the completely oppressed people in Cuba, they're like, it's the bearded man's going to take us.
Look
No.
at all you shaved men.
I know.
I know.
I shaved this morning.
We're not.
no power.
We
No
will
power
never.
in this room.
We will never be communist dictators. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Or any type of probably dictator. Anyway. Okay, Black Ops sold a lot. Now, I think the larger question is how well and, Connect was going to sell because, we were really just, ambivalent about how this thing was going to register, especially because that marketing really didn't hit, but then hit in a very, very, very
Well, hit
big
people
way.
other than us.
Yeah.
Now, we don't have confirmed numbers on this one, though, do we?
No, but they're estimating 1.3 million sold worldwide from VG charts.
And that's at least in the U.S., $150. Which is an interesting, especially since there's a report. And once again, some people are estimating because they took it apart that this puppy might be just selling for, really is worth $56. That's a pretty hefty profit on the part of Microsoft. They're
like-
finally in Nintendo
They're
territory.
playing Nintendo style.
Yeah,
now.
that's good. Okay, what are the games are doing well for Connect?
Well, Connect Sports was 440,000 copies. Again, these are all estimates. Dance Central with 200,000 and Connectimals with 110,000.
Okay, I don't expect Connectimals to sell well. You know why? It's called Connectimals. Nintendogs just worked. Like, I see it. It's not a real word, but it's phonetic.
Like, what,
And-
what do you
and
want them
it's-
to call it? My Cat Soft? Or like,
Yeah, something like that. Cat Adventure or Me and the Felines
That just sounds
on an
depressing and
island.
terrifying.
It's
Those
just
are
like,
terrible names.
That's a porn. I don't
I
know
know. I
what.
guess you're right. But Connectimals, okay. Connect isn't a word that reads very well. It's not one that we're used to saying as you were with Nintendo. And really, they just put GS on the end of a word I was very familiar with for Nintendogs. It's just Connectimals doesn't sound okay, and it's just a weird game.
Mm-hmm.
But it freaks out your cats.
Yes,
they still freak out?
cat panics and cries. It's so cute. He hates that there's another animal in the house,
Is it just
and he runs through your
jealousy?
legs and he cries. Yeah, he's just jealous.
Oh.
And then
I
you
don't
have to
know.
play
Mine
with the
is-
cat, and then you got to play with the fake cat, then you got to play with the cat, and then
Mine
you got
just
to play with
assumes
the
it's
fake
time
cat.
to get fed as soon as I stand up, and so every time I play the Connect at all, it's just like meow meow. And she just wants to be food.
Real life
Because she
connection.
assumes that the only reason I would ever stand up is to feed her, which is not entirely
What does that
untrue.
say about you?
Oh, what sedentary lives we lead. We'll get to something about you, Jake. Just because all
don't
of your
have a cat.
recent game playing has been mandated.
Exactly.
Actually, so was
Anti-cat
Matt.
people.
So that's
Yeah. Nobody forced me to play Connectimals. That was an impulse buy.
Are you playing Connectimals?
I was playing Connectimals.
Are you playing it a lot?
No.
Yeah.
I got
It's
to the
weird.
got to the first area, and then I had to start jumping, and I was just like, nah, I don't want to do this.
Although I did have the situation this weekend where I had someone come over that had never, that like isn't as video gamey as the rest of my friends, and it was like the first time that I had the Wii, and people would come over and be like, "Oh my god, I want to check it out," and so I, showed my friends, Connect. And they loved it. They thought it was so freaking cool.
Swipe the menu, and it was like,
Definitely has that
ooh.
effect.
Yeah, like there was definitely that first is when the Wii came out, and your friends were like, "Oh my god!" Like your non-really core video gaming friends.
What's interesting is that I've heard some reports that that's true from like age 6 or 7 on up, but 3-year-olds, like a really young skewing, I don't think that they see what's so remarkable about it, because I think in the rich fantasy world of understanding the world around you, that doesn't really seem too
Yeah.
unreasonable.
Which seems to
They
make
live
sense.
in
I mean,
imagination land anyway.
Yeah.
Steve Johnson was saying that his
Yeah.
son Dexter is not buying it. He played Connectimals for about 5 minutes and was like, I get it. He's more fascinated with the box at this point, which is what he said. He's playing more with the box than the actual.
It's
Well,
like
the
my
Connect-
cat.
The Connectimals thing, like
children are like
that's more for children that have outgrown the ability to imagine that kind of thing. Like
having
us.
a pet baby tiger. I guess actually, so I was so lonely. I didn't have an imaginary friend. I had imaginary friends, and they were all animals.
Yeah.
And we had adventures together, like going to the doctor. Anyway,
I don't want to learn more
where
about
did the
Adam playing
imaginary
doctor
friend
with his
play
imaginary
doctor with
friends.
you?
no, they just helped me get through the experience.
Okay.
Time and time again.
It's more of an imaginary support group.
Okay, speaking of Connectimals, Microsoft realized that Connectimals might not be for all of us, especially post-pubescent. But hardcore games, they're coming. They're coming. They're up in them thar hills. Are they, Abby?
Yeah, apparently. I mean, they announced a couple at Tokyo Game Show when we
Yeah.
were there, and we've heard that the Steel Battalion game is coming and Codename D, and I guess they're coming.
Yeah,
I'll wait.
Star
When I
Wars
see
and-
them,
Star Wars next year.
That
yeah.
Star Wars
Holiday.
game, which
I-
5
no
seconds
one
of
can
awesome,
really get
and
a-
then like what? Who?
No one can get a handle on really what that is.
Yeah, we don't really have details
They
on
said
that.
it was on rails, and now someone said no, it's not on rails, and then it said, so nobody knows what it is. In the meantime, you're like, do I get a lightsaber or not?
Yeah, and
Because I don't want to just do. I want to stick. or
no,
something.
I mean, I think it's like. It's like we jumped what we wanted with the Wii to the technology. It's like no, give
you
me.
have lightsabers at home. You could probably just use
I
one
do,
of those.
but can they see it? Or do I have to mime a lightsaber? That's silly.
Speaking of Connect,
That's
seeing
silly.
something.
It'll be
Thank
worse
you
than
for
I'm
the
playing with a
segue.
broom.
As you probably, if you go on the site right now, we'll have a funny video of Connect watching me and seeing me do things that pretty much shocked everyone who watched the filming of it. Please go check it out.
Even
to
those of
see.
us who read the script of it.
Yeah.
You might want to watch a certain Jodie Foster movie first.
Yes. Wait, what's the one where she can't talk and she was raised by
Not
wolves?
Nell.
Not Nell.
Not
Yeah,
Nell.
don't see
Don't
Nell.
watch Nell.
I had terrified.
You know what?
Really
But
bad
if you
vision
make
of
a
that.
mistake, accidentally see Carney and then go see Silence of the Lambs.
Or you could accidentally see moon spinners and get really confused
Yeah,
waiting
yeah.
for something that's not going to happen in the video.
But no, Microsoft is trying to tamp down these rumors that Kinect is watching you. No, you know what they're saying?
But it
Kinect
is
not
listening to
watching
you.
Yeah. I mean, we do know from Eric Eckstein, who could hear another conversation. It sounds like inadvertently people can become all too aware of what other people are doing, and that you need to go check the settings.
They're
But
really just not feeding their children, is what I've gathered.
what I find almost kind of nostalgic about this is that I haven't heard these comments about Microsoft like trying to impose itself in every aspect of your life for nefarious gain for so long. That I remember like Seamus would used to tell me the stories of someone who sent in all the specs that were necessary to prove that on the old Xbox, like the Xbox logo at the top was a camera, and people had determined exactly what camera lens could fit in there, and that Microsoft was watching you.
That was really almost a daily topic at Tech TV.
At Tech TV. I mean, it was just everyone kept on that Steve Jobs was going to come in like frickin' Gandalf, be like, "No, we'll take you away." it was really. I mean, I guess it just brings me back.
Microsoft's seen a lot of stuff they don't want to see.
Yeah.
So I mean, do you guys think that they're not watching? Or that they could
I think
watch?
they need to add like a voice command for Connect. It's like, Connect, don't look at me, and it will just go and just look down. I think that's what they need to
Well,
put in.
I mean, in a way they are, because they're, they know what you buy and where you go and their dashboard and everything. That's a little more insipid, isn't it? I mean, that's you can complain about this, but like we all use Facebook and that logs.
Not me.
I mean, that
not me.
you.
That's
I
not
know,
me,
you're the one-
kids. That isn't me.
Okay.
Even to my younger brother who tried to friend me and thought I was angry at him.
Yes, and don't try to friend like me because like we talk. And I know it's not him. You're not fooling anyone. I don't know who you are, but
you look how specifically they tailor the ads. Of course they're looking.
yeah.
I
mean,
don't know.
Here we have something from COO CFO Dennis Durkin. We can cater which content we present to you based on who you are. How many people are in the room when the ad is shown, and people are in the room when the game is being played? When you add this sort of device to the living room, there's a bunch of business opportunities that can come with that.
what do you advertise to 4 people that you don't advertise to 3?
Yeah,
Subscriptions
people
to
you
the
assume-
National
that one
Review.
person walks in the room and
All right, now that he's gone, let's show you this. What is that?
I just like the idea that suddenly, like, I'm gonna be offered back cream and like Mother Jones subscriptions.
I mean, I'd lose my shit if that were the case, but I know that they're already tracking everything that I look through, and that's, in the dashboard and all that other stuff.
I think that's just
Well,
where
who
I
cares?
don't want
It's
them
just
physically
paranoid
seeing
at that
me.
point.
No, I
but
just don't want them
let's-
physically seeing me while I do
But see,
it.
but
Well, yeah.
let's clarify something.
No one wants that.
They're
No.
not tracking Abby Happy. What they're doing is they're taking data from Abby Happy and grouping it with data from other people, and that as I've said in a lot of situations like this, in theory, it feels like someone can watch you, but for that to really matter, they have to give a shit about you. And, I just think for most people out there, myself included, we're just not going to really raise to that point of interest.
No.
I can dream, though. I can dream.
very interesting.
I think it's more of a self-esteem thing where
Yeah.
people are just like worried about, they know that I looked at the Smallville billboard or something. It's like, who cares?
Just because it's capable of doing it doesn't mean that it's.
As I
actually
said, until Netflix starts carrying porn, nobody's really going to care.
Look, until they set it up so I can turn the damn thing off by talking to it, I'm not
Yeah.
worried about it watching me like Big Brother. It's not going to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Once again, go check out the comedy piece because I had to do things that most don't want to do. Gran Turismo 5. Okay, we can begin the countdown clock to no longer having to talk about Gran Turismo 5.
Believe it when it's in my hands.
Yes, okay.
November 24th.
November 24th. That is Thanksgiving week.
2010, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, Thanksgiving week, the strange week that didn't have a game release that we all thought should have had the Epic Mickey game release actually has a game release, and it's Gran Turismo 5? Is
Yep.
that, we're at
Right.
5.
Yeah, we're at 5. Don't worry.
They're working on 6
Right.
Yeah.
right now.
Please read this quote.
Okay. Which one?
The
First
one from
Yamauchi.
Kaonori
Yeah.
Yamauchi.
Gran Turismo 5 is an ambitious project with challenges and complexities which have made it our version of the Apollo space program.
What? Does it mean Gran Turismo 13 is going to blow up?
It's just going to kill the people that make it.
Wow.
I guess, it's like, so, finally having the damage.
But I think
brings to the.
we got to the moon faster than they put this game out. So that's,
That's true. That was
Yeah.
nine
You're right.
years.
You're right.
So that's not.
And this is
that's
a
fair,
racing
comparison.
simulator. All right.
Not winning the race to the moon.
All right. He also said it was
Can
a-
the cars
drive up?
We're so close to Gran Turismo 5 in space.
I like that. No, I don't. Also says, it was such a difficult decision to delay the release of the game, and one which we did not take lightly. I can only apologize to everyone for making you wait so long, and I hope when you try out the wealth of driving experiences available in Gran Turismo 5, you will not be disappointed. I don't know which delay they're actually referring to here. I hope that you know.
I assume just the most recent.
Yeah, I mean, 3 weeks. I mean, it would have been good for them.
That
Also,
was arguably the hardest delay, though, because you were so close.
I know.
And then suddenly.
It reminds me of some dating experiences I had.
Yeah.
Can't make it tonight. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, at least damage is in.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, at least there's NASCAR.
I don't think I've ever heard you say that.
No. Assassin's Creed. We're about to talk about it in moments, but no. In the world of Gran Turismo 6s and Modern Warfare 8 billions, we'll never be allowed to not talk about Assassin's Creed.
Nope. They're coming out with another one in 2011, although there's no details really.
Yeah, they won't say it was
Something
AC3.
Assassin's Creed
They say
related.
something's coming,
I'm
which
not.
sounds like a threat.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
isn't this just going to be their new thing? You know, I expect to see an Assassin's Creed thing every year, like we used to see a new Tom
I know.
Clancy thing
Yeah.
every
No,
year, and a
it's-
new Rabbids every year. You know,
But
And-
we're
and-
actually still getting a lot of
And,
that.
and remember, when we got more Rabbids and Tom Clancy's, it felt less special.
yeah.
Year to
And
year.
Prince of Persia, they were doing that with
Yeah.
Prince of Persia for
Well, I
a
think
while.
what they're doing now. I mean, they said that they were going to take a break, like in 2011, game wise. I think what we're seeing also is that they have Assassin's Creed Ascendance, which is like the short comic that's coming out. They have comic books, they have short films. I think it's just going to be expanding it that way. It's not necessarily a game.
This is something that
What
we
if
can
it's a
also.
movie?
I'll call it 3DS.
There you go.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Be kind of cool.
yeah.
Eagle dive.
See, this is through the Kinect and the Move and everything like that. I'm gonna be that sucker. It's like, oh, it's a new DS game. Cool. All right. Yeah. Ponies.
You get the.
I guarantee you there will be a pony
oh,
game
oh, yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
And you are reviewing it.
There will be a flying pony game.
Yeah. Oh wow. Ponies in space.
Yeah.
Right with the Gran
Oh,
Turismo
yes.
cars.
Select your blaster, and then select your horse.
Yeah. And then it's NASCAR in space with it's gonna be so good.
Usually I'm the one talking about ponies.
Yes, I know, but right now everything's going to go in space in 3D next year sometime. The one thing I would have to say though, like to the Ascendants and all these non-interactive things, if you were to look at the gaming franchises of the past 5 years and say that one's going to so hit the mark that they're going to be able to just expand it, I don't think I would have thought of Assassins. I thought that what I love so much about it just kind of narrowed its appeal.
You'd think.
But it's really neat.
When you look at the kind of overarching narrative, though, where it has this, it can go to any time period,
Yep.
any place in the world, forever.
I mean,
And
we
that's
pretty much it.
hypothesized on where it would go
Yeah.
and
It's
what
the
they would do with
Batman
it.
appeal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a badass in a cloak with like stuff you can play with at home and a bunch of gadgets, and you run around on the rooftops.
It's based on almost like that kind of pre-adolescent fantasy, which is you don't know how awesome I am.
Yeah.
I'm just walking amongst you, but I can kill you all if I wanted to. Yeah,
Like that every day.
that's how Altair and Ezio actually sound in their head. I just want to point that out. I
And that was
I know
also
that.
a good impression of Adam's grade school career.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, one day I'll show you all. And now I don't even remember who they were. And so it's just pointless. Remember, guys, on our website, we have a video game deathmatch. It's going on. We are into the second round. I'm not going to go through every single matchup, but we have Bayonetta versus Mass Effect 2, which I know will break some hearts on this panel right here. Halo Reach versus Dead Rising 2. Red Dead Redemption versus Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, and the tough one, Call of Duty Black Ops versus Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. A lot of you guys out there have been wondering how this got chosen in terms of the brackets. It's based chronologically by release date because we had to go for something random. I would just say that it's still better than the bowl system for the end of the year
Somewhat,
for
but
football.
Super Street Fighter 4 versus Alan Wake. You explain to
That's
me
a
how
tough.
I compare those two games.
Death
close your
Spank
eyes.
versus StarCraft 2.
At least Super Street Fighter 4 versus Alan Wake, you've kind of bifurcated the fan bases, so you don't have too much like, will he ever talk to me again? It's one love or another. All right, there we go. News. You're all informed. Stay
Yay.
informed. Tell a friend. Game of the week: Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Jake, you played it.
Yep.
I've been playing it. Abby's been playing it. Matt's been playing it. You have played more than us because I'm just going to start it off on this. This game, and more so than Assassin's Creed 2, I don't know why, is hitting my obsessive thing. Like, I can't I played all day Saturday and did, I think, 1.5 story missions.
Because more things come up on your map, and it's that obsessive need to get everything clean and ordered and not on your map anymore. I'm doing the same
But you've
thing.
seen my office. Why don't I practice that in real
You've seen
life?
my apartment.
I don't. It's weird.
If you had to kill people to clean your office, you'd probably clean your office more often.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, wow. What an interesting system. What an interesting system. But Jake, what was your overall impression? Also, give a sense of like where do you fall on Assassin's Creed? Period. Just the franchise.
I've been a fan since the first game. I definitely understood all the complaints, and I had them too. But I was so fascinated with the kind of sci-fi historical split timeline story that I was kind of willing to forgive it, and out of the repetitive nature of it. The jump to 2 was obviously really great. The varied up the mission structure and added the combat was better. There's just more to do. In this, it's similar, which is probably the biggest complaint. But there is a ridiculous amount of stuff to do. Rome is gorgeous and massive.
Rome,
it's fantastic.
Rome really fits. It has elements that bring me back to what I love so much about the first one, which is just there's you have all of the Roman ruins, and so there's just that kind of mysterious quality that really was there with everything that was inside of the Crusade era setting in Assassin's Creed 1. This thing is just it's kind of rubbing my belly. I don't know how to say it. Abby, you've been playing it. I have heard some comments from your queue.
Do you mean profanity?
Lots of profanity. So
earlier this morning, I started screaming silently, where I just do all the curse words, but in courtesy to all of you, I just yell, but I don't actually make any noise, and I grab the controller really hard and shake it. His controls sometimes really get to me. It's just I'll be going for something and he'll jump off the wrong way off a building, or I had like a courtesan that got stuck on a wall or something, and I just had to restart that mission. And I mean, nothing like serious, and half the time I know it's my fault, but sometimes it's like the horse won't edge, you're chasing someone and the horse won't edge around this one piece of concrete even though you're definitely not hitting it, and
Horses are
I
jerks.
have poor and I just have poor impulse control, and I curse at it.
I haven't had that much of it, but I have one instance where on some like docks, they have the pylons that go in, and they actually stick up just a touch over like the plank that they're supposed to be supporting, and I kind of got trapped on the physics of that while I was trying to carry a dead body somewhere. It was my mom, okay?
I did that, fall in.
And then like the guards were chasing after me. I'm like, I'm gonna get there first. I'm gonna get there. And then I just got stuck on this thing, and then they pushed my mom's body into the water, and it was an undignified.
Well, I
sequence.
haven't gotten that far.
I haven't gotten that
You
far
haven't
either.
gotten there? You haven't gotten there? I got there. I mean, it's a memory of what happened in Assassin's Creed.
And that's those kinds of complaints that people had of the second one. They're definitely still there. The free running and sprinting are still just a problem because of just how it's designed.
See, I will
Not for
disagree to that
him.
to the end of the earth because I can make that game dance. I have zero problems with the controls in that game. I think Assassin's Creed 2 perfected them. I think Brotherhood is exceptional. I can make him do anything I want. I have never had a single problem with the controls in this game.
It must be nice to be that, Kyle.
There's a
I have
fighting
to- I
there's a
agree.
fighting game element to the way the game works, as in it will always do something predictable if you can read how the environment functions. And so problems that like what you're talking about with the pillars on the docks happen when they kind of violate that design aesthetic or that design philosophy, and they try to make an object that doesn't quite fit what you're expecting. And you're like, well, wait, I didn't think he was going to hop on the little peg and then try to hop from peg to peg. I just want you to run down the boardwalk. So you have to kind of anticipate when the game is going to be stupid.
Right.
Like,
I mean,
and just not deal with that part of it.
I got frustrated in Assassin's Creed 2, and I put it more on the architecture and how it was, sort of working with the controls. But Brotherhood, I have to say, it's a smoother experience for me. And
they're much more open to doing something in the environment to make it convenient for you. Where I'm like, okay, I want to get across this big road. How do I do? Oh, there's a clothesline right there. Like they do convenient little places almost everywhere. I haven't really found a place where I'm just like I gotta go all the way around and all that. Only when you run into those cliffside things.
Where
sometimes.
I sort of screwed it up because I took the wrong path, and then it was going to make me do the entire big climbing thing that I got there. So I just killed myself. Why are the guards kill me? I've done that quite a few times. Just kill me so I can start at the checkpoint.
I still think that this game, more than other games out there, is deeply affected by the current disposition you have when you're playing it. Because if I'm just not, I don't want to say I'm not in the mood, but yes, I do sometimes play games when I'm not in the mood, or I'm like, yeah, I got 2 more hours, I'm going to go. I know that my free running starts to suck. And then, like, when I'm fresh in the morning, I'm like, yeah, ooh, it's the morning. I'm going to go sit in a dark room, play Assassin's Creed. And, it's interesting. And I think it's because, fatigue or not being, like, really, really focused. But at the same time, it's an open world game that's inviting for hour upon hour upon hour. It's a very interesting... It's got its pluses and minuses. I mean, I think one of the feelings I've had is I don't want things to be changed for Assassins, because I think it would... If you made the running more perfect, or that it was easier to make everything perfect, you would be taking away that sense that the player's making those decisions.
You take away the accomplishment too when you actually.
That's the thing. It's tricky.
I mean, Assassin's Creed is the best argument against the way that Enslaved made its platforming, because there's no way to fail that. Really.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, what else though? Let's talk about some of the good things. In Assassin's Creed,
the combat this time is about as smooth as you could hope. If you like the kind of counter, really brutal takedowns of 1 and 2, this is an endless source of entertainment.
This is up there with Fable 3 and just having new animations that are happening constantly.
They finally seem to have remembered that, like, in the situations you get into in Assassin's Creed, that character is going to want to end that fight real quick. You're not going to want to stand there and arrow flint it for about 10 minutes.
Well, it's great too. That's why I love being also able to call in the other assassins and have them. Sometimes I get in situations where I'm like, no, I don't want to fight right now. You guys handle it. I'm out.
Yeah, you do actually feel like you're part of an organization this time.
That was so cool. I love what they've done. I mean, maybe you can elaborate on it more, but the whole new assassin system is cool.
The Brotherhood assassin system is great. You can basically go around the city and save citizens who are being harassed by guards, bring them into the Brotherhood, and then send them out on contracts throughout Europe. They have varying difficulties.
Just so people think, because at one moment I thought, am I going to play things in other parts of Europe? Yeah. No. It happens out of sight, out of mind. They either come back or they don't.
So you send them out, you level them up, you can change their weapon and armor. It's really simple. And then as you get more, you can basically call in more. So you have like 3 sections of assassins that you can call in at any one time. If you have all 3 of them, you can use it all in one shot, and it'll basically just rain down arrows.
It's like a sling from 300. It's just arrows. Yeah. I did it once to see what would happen, and I chose a very small group of enemies, and it was like one of the most stupid moments of overkill I've ever seen. But really, I mean, and this speaks to, I think, one of those core elements I love so much about the series is just, whoever's, if it's Ezio or if it's Altair, there's that sense of cool. And when they call in the assassins, he just is walking, and he just beckons like this. And then all of a sudden, just people looking awesome, jump in, kill someone, and get the hell out of there immediately.
It's awesome.
I did enjoy that, there are some flashback memory missions, and I did enjoy that some of them go back to before Ezio was cool.
Yeah.
There's like the one where his older brother tries to teach him how to hit on women, and he just kind of stands in front of her.
He totally blows it.
And he's all, with that. And I didn't think that engine or that Assassin's Creed character design was possible of doing a stupid grin. But they did.
Absolutely. Actually, the animations in the face this time are really great.
And they got the heads moving independent of the hoods now, which I appreciate.
I mean, it's a little, there's this element where you get these assassins, and depending upon how you play the game, and I think we've all played a little bit differently. Matt and I think we've gone a little bit bonkers, not touching anything. So I think I put about 12, 13 hours into this game, and that's when I suddenly got the assassins. I mean, it's just like, oh my God, there's just all these elements that I think are, they're better elements. You don't have the races on the rooftops, which I think they were trying to do something that just wasn't really.
Or when you do, suited. They're like 4 checkpoints long.
Right.
They're manageable.
It works, and there's just all these side quests that not only seem to be fun to do, but fold back into some sense of benefit. Like, it either helps Rome grow, or you get enough money to help go buy the Colosseum. Yeah. And when you're buying things, you're not just kind of buying them into Montagnori. How do you pronounce that? I'm so bad with Italian.
So is everybody else in the game.
Yeah, okay, good. It is this like, ooh, I'm making Rome prettier because the Borgia suck.
Yeah. You're upgrading everything.
Although, not with the mythology of the game, why did the Borgia suck in real life? I mean, were they really just running around just making everything miserable for everyone?
I thought they were just horribly corrupt.
Yeah,
I guess when you come into Rome, there's no tailor shops. They've completely let Rome go to pot. And I was like,
and also Lucretia Borgia created that shaggy dog curse thing, if I remember that movie correctly.
Oh, the Shaggy Dog with Fred McMurray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that the curse
her?
he was under came from Lucretia Borgia.
That sounds good. I always thought I was learning something in my Disney life.
Attention Disney Interactive crossover.
Yeah, I like that.
Want an assassin sheepdog? There you go.
Then we can get some bed knobs and broomsticks incorporated into something else.
The series has been missing Angela Lansbury.
Yes, it has. Wow, think about that Murder, She Wrote episode. Man, there's a lot of dead people in Rome.
I would cry.
No, I think
That's
Angela
the
Lansbury is
best
clearly
thing
the
ever.
leader of the Assassins Guild. In
Yeah,
modern
I think she's a
times.
Templar.
Yeah,
She could
I like
be.
that. I like that. Yeah,
How
on
else
the
does she
whole, I
always
mean,
where trouble is?
This really does seem like a lot of game. I mean, outside of like sort of that perennial love it or hate it thing when it comes to the running controls. I mean, what were some of the other things you thought were just kind of hang-ups for the game?
I mean, the end. I'm not giving spoil it or anything. It's a little similar to the second game, and I'm really fascinated with the sci-fi side. Like they do a lot of great stuff with teasing what's going on right now in the kind of Templar assassin battle and Desmond's story and stuff. And I was really hoping there's one section at the end where you can jump out of the Animus also at any time, which
Right.
you can be Desmond, but you can't really do much. You could run around modern day Monteriggioni
And check your email.
check your email, which has lots of fascinating
Achievement.
things. But as soon as I realized I could like run around and he has the kind of hidden blade, I was like, all right, we're gonna get a Desmond section where he's gonna be taking on modern Templars.
And they're really teasing that
And it's
over
gonna
and
be
over.
great. And then it just didn't get there. And I think it's unfortunate too because like it's just going back and like looking at the first one and the second one and catching up on the sci-fi story, like what's really going on. It's a really, really cool story. Like,
yes,
it's an amazing story. It's like one of my favorites, but it's one that I forget how much I like because it's so complex. Like it's so
Yeah.
not that I want the game to be like so obvious and I'm against dense games, but like I think it's doing a disservice to how cool it is by making it so
Well, at a certain point, they're
complicated.
going to have to stop chickening out and have
Yeah.
a game that's mostly 2012 and has a little bit of Animus.
Right.
And I wonder if they're going to be willing to do that because the old, the ancient stuff seems to be so ingrained in the appeal of the series.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, this was originally set out to be a trilogy. I think just looking at what Ubisoft is doing with Brotherhood, and just something's coming in 2011. I don't. The French like money, like other people.
Price of success. Yeah.
Exactly, and that. I mean, but I think that's where my concern is. I consider this game to be rarefied. I would put it up there with BioShock for games of this
As
generation.
an exceptional, not made by Rare.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Although, let's say, big head, funny avatar looking body, that would sure be, Connect Assassins. That's a terrible idea.
Banjo's Creed. Is that what we're doing?
Banjo's Creed. I like that. Nuts and daggers.
You just keeps Kazooie
Oh, that
up the
sounds terrible.
sleeve.
It's that. It's unclear to me if what we're going to see happen here is what's happened with like a show like Lost or something like that, where this desire to kind of push it more than where its original inception wanted it to go weakens what was its initial appeal in the first place.
Well, it's funny because obviously you don't want to get too bogged down on the story in a game because the game is the game. You want to play it. In the end, who cares if it makes sense as long as it's fun to play? It's got to be their attitude as far as it continuing the series. My question is, just don't lost it. Don't drag it out
Yeah.
and remake stuff. Just finish it. And then they already have the idea to continue the series forever in the multiplayer of Assassin's Creed 2, where it's just everyone's training in the Animuses at Abstergo, and it's just like, just anyone, just put an Animus in a room and put a guy in it, and he could, his ancestors were ninjas or whatever. I don't care.
Someone
Just
could
like,
have
That's
a
true.
far smaller agenda that isn't trying to end a global conspiracy that reaches back thousands of years.
Abstergo could just have like a research department.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I just
Could
want to
just be
get
their
back
break
at my
room.
girlfriend. I'm going to go in there and go get her relative back in,
Assassin's Creed Chronicles.
Yeah, something like
Done.
that. I mean, yeah.
Side
it's
stories.
Now, granted, I think one of the reasons we don't think that we're going to get Assassin's Creed next year is that obviously the year 2012 is rather important
Well,
to
that's
the
got to
series.
be 3. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so, I mean, who knows where that's going to
You
go?
could get like a Bloodlines thing.
Matt brought up multiplayer. I mean, clearly you liked it, but I think the real big question is, while it's completely different as multiplayer, is this really going to set the stage for anything? Like, I mean, is this, it's new, but is it new with a life ahead of it?
I don't believe so. The reaction when it first got announced was similar to how people reacted when they heard BioShock was going to have multiplayer, which was like such a traditional single player story driven game. Why add multiplayer? What's it really going to add? Fortunately, similar to BioShock, they gave it this really nice kind of narrative frame, which I always appreciate for that kind of thing, where you're not assassins, you're actually the Templars training to be assassins at Abstergo, which instantly makes it a little bit better than it really actually would. The gameplay, it's what you would expect it to be. I mean, it's certainly intense, like hunting people down and being hunted and trying to blend into the crowd. It's fun for a while. I think diehard fans will probably play it a little bit longer than they expected that they would play it. But everybody else would probably just be like a really entertaining kind of.
Did you play it in the wild at all, or was it just like a press?
No,
event
it was just like against.
Because my big question on it, and we haven't played it yet.
We haven't played since E3.
It's my question is like, we know people playing online.
Right.
Like, if people just running around like nut bars, is that going to break the game, or is it going to make it easier for the people who are playing it correctly to pick them off? That's what I'm wondering.
It'll be both. You're definitely going to be. Your enjoyment will directly be tied into how everybody else is playing.
The trick is, don't necessarily take everything you learn playing the single player and apply it in multiplayer. You got to be mellow. You got to be really, really mellow.
Because there's no NPCs climbing on rooftops. If you see somebody,
right, and then
pretty
you know
good
that
indication
they're
that
another assassin.
So where does the game need to go? All of us. I mean, like if we can influence Ubisoft for Assassin's Creed 3, is there something?
I would just want to see more. I would probably give it like 60% Desmond and then 40% the rest.
Assuming that Desmond is something on the level of an Altair.
I'd like to see 2012.
Yeah,
like what's going on there. I mean, I'm sure there's cool stuff you could do there.
And it's tied into the actual. That's the big
also,
event.
Now that we know that Abstergo is driving distance from Montegri and Nori, but
we're in Europe. Apparently.
Yeah, so man, we could just go to Barcelona
and I'm still waiting for
climb the Gaudi, church.
I'm still waiting for Kristen Bell's character to betray you, because that's.
I'm waiting for everyone in the damn game to betray me. I don't trust a.
I'm ready for
I'm waiting for like one of the game's endings to be like someone who shows up and is just, you're like, who are you? And they're just like, it's like, oh, I'm an assassin. You don't know any assassins yet.
What I'm waiting for is, what if the Desmond experience is someone else in an Animus?
Mind blown.
Did you just see Inception, or?
I guess that's one of those Inception things.
Yeah, I wonder if the Assassin's Creed guys saw Inception. They're like, "Oh, you bastard!"
Well, at least this has a more clear. I mean, they at least came up with the Animus. That somehow it fits better, at least in my sci-fi logic. I'm inside a machine and it's going to my.
Yeah, well, the Matrix kind of set us up for that. But when you think of, I really don't think that works in any potential science fiction
really?
way. Like,
this isn't real?
Memory in your DNA. I don't know about that one.
All right. Well, Jake, thank you so much for Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Obviously, the full review is up on the site, g4tv.com. There should be some of that video stuff attached to it as well. And as we learn things about the game, we'll keep other people informed. We're not going to keep it to ourselves. No, there's no fun in withholding information unless it's really, really good. All right. Let's go to a question of the week. And this is from, before we get to the question of the week, I would like to address something that people were more than happy to point out last week. Our questioner was a John Galt, I believe. I thought maybe that was a reference. Was we were all
Sounds
like this.
like a familiar name.
Yes, it's from Atlas Shrugged.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't know that?
No.
Wow.
No, and this is why.
I am disappointed in
I
you.
read The Fountainhead and barely made it through that, and it just wasn't even occurring to me that somebody was throwing me an Ayn Rand reference, and so I humbly asked for forgiveness on this one.
If it was Howard Rourke, we would have been all over that. But there's something about Ayn Rand that makes your brain turn off?
I would I couldn't have tea with her. I just couldn't.
No.
Yeah. After going to the Supreme Court, I now know I would have beer with Scalia, but I don't think I could have tea with Ayn Rand.
What about beer with Ayn Rand?
No. That could go to bad places.
Sounds like it usually did.
Yeah. There's a great appearance of Scalia in Brotherhood, actually.
Oh, really?
So, Go find it.
Okay, I'll go look for that. So anyway, I do catch the reference of this week's question of the week. This is from the great old ones. Somewhere off in the netherworlds of space, the great Azathoth.
They don't care about human affairs except video game multiplayer.
Are gamers spoiled with multiplayer? It seems that every developer wants to add multiplayer to extend the length of their games, and often at the cost of a single-player experience. The gaming community almost expects games to have multiplayer, and that single player is an add-on. That's a little bit of a strong statement there. A game could have the greatest story ever, but if it's only 4 to 6 hours long and the majority of the game is multiplayer, is it worth it? If the multiplayer is good, a case could be made.
That says muty player.
Ooh, I like that. Beauty player. I think there's now this perception that every multiplayer is somehow forced onto a game. I think it's from people like me who really, really, really love the single-player experience. But I think I'm seeing a little bit more of a balance this year. I mean, BioShock 2 was the one that everyone was like...
And Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, but at least Assassin's Creed 2 has something new. Like, you know...
I don't know. I don't know if you remember, but like back 10 years ago, like it seemed like it was worse, where it was like everything
I would
had
have
some
to
weird
agree.
little multiplayer thing. You know, GoldenEye kind of made it like everyone was trying to ape GoldenEye's multiplayer in some way or shape or form, and you're just like, did you just throw the associates and the interns on this one and like hope it came out well? Because
Now, is it...
they're better now, I think.
Now, is it definitely happening at the expense of single player? I mean, there's a couple
Not
of...
always. I don't think
I mean,
so.
there are times where I just think it's at the expense of the integrity of the package.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't always matter because, I mean, you had two completely separate development teams working on the single player and multiplayer in Medal of Honor, and Medal of Honor's campaign is still 4 hours long. So
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think it really.
I don't know that it matters.
Now, how about the idea that there are people out there, the more average consumer, the guy who's buying at best 4 games a year? How important is that multiplayer? Not because he's necessarily going to play it, but it's kind of like, ooh, he has more game for his $60 because that's really a lot of the thinking in trying to shove multiplayer into these games.
I don't know, and it's a tough one for me because I'm someone that loves multiplayer, but at the same time,
You love good multiplayer.
But that's the thing is like I wouldn't even really. I mean, I'll play it because I think it's interesting, and maybe for like a night or two, I'll hop on Assassin's Creed multiplayer and play with you guys. But multiplayer that I've played outside of the big ones that are going to be good, and lots of people I played Battlefield 2 for a while. I played Modern Warfare last year. I played Call of Duty this year. I don't care if it's not. I mean, I play Assassin's Creed for the single player. I play almost every other game. BioShock, I didn't touch the multiplayer. I have to say, I just don't care. Multiplayer for me is something that I'm going to have an investment in, and I'm going to keep coming back to, and something that I'm going to build and cultivate my kill death or whatever else for the rest of the year. I just don't care.
I mean, single player is like a date, and multiplayer is like a relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, boy, I date a lot. It is. I mean, I think it's more or less like there's too many risky. I think unnecessary money is being spent trying to make multiplayer when, in a given year, you have 4 or 5 games at best.
I mean, maybe
really
you'll grab
carry an
a
audience.
few people that stick with it, but I can't imagine that's true.
think it's just for
I would
those-
love to see the numbers, 6 months later on the majority of these titles that.
I mean,
that have
anyone
it.
out there still playing Fear 2 multiplayer?
That on multiplayer?
Didn't it? Didn't it? It did. See? Exactly.
The only thing I go back to repeatedly for multiplayer is Street Fighter 4. Like, I still play on that online
And that's
sometimes.
different. I mean, I don't know. I don't put that in the same.
It's not the kind of multiplayer that's tacked on. It's,
Well, it's not.
multiplayer
It's not that
required
different
by
too,
the game.
because it has the same hardcore audience that gets the game for that reason to play against other people and ones. Yeah, no, it's not that.
I think it's the ones that feel tacked on are for people who don't play multiplayer.
right.
Pretty much.
so it's
And
just to give
I
them a
think it's just like
distraction.
one of those things that
Yeah.
helps you spend that $60. And it's also, it's got to be an incentive at some point for some people. It's like, well, I don't know if I want to play Transformers War for Cybertron right away, but if I don't, multiplayer servers are going to be deserted by the time the price comes down. So you got to
interesting
jump in.
point.
Yeah.
Lack of support is generating quicker purchase. I like that idea.
And then these days, if you don't buy the EA game right off the bat, you got to pay $5 to play multiplayer later.
Yep.
So
yeah. Oh dear.
I don't know. I'm not a huge multiplayer person, but every once in a while I get sucked into one of them. But I would certainly never buy a game based on that premise.
Yeah. I mean, Abby, you would, but it's only for the good stuff.
Well, there's very few companies that I would, can even consider really buying into their multiplayer experience, and that's usually because the game is, built around that being the biggest part of it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of multiplayer, we will be multiplaying again next week, talking about some game. We're not going to tell you now because we like to withhold that information.
We
from
don't know
you.
what it is, do we?
No, we do.
Not really.
Yeah.
No.
I don't believe you.
But next week is Thanksgiving week, so of course we're going to be talking about important things for people to consider when they're buying games for loved ones, such as what can you give someone that you don't want to see anymore, and will keep them occupied for hours on end. An important tip and other life lessons coming next week on Feedback. Thank you so much for watching this week. Remember, Deathmatch is still going on. Go to g4tv.com/deathmatch to vote. We'll see you next week. Hello there. I'm Adam Sessler, host of X Play, editor-in-chief at g4tv.com.
I talk a lot about video games, and sometimes a camera is in front of me when I'm doing that. We call that Sessler's Soapbox. It takes about 2 minutes of your time, but trust me, you will hear invective and joy, and probably a lot of rude things like you've never heard before in the context of video games. I do it for you, so you should check it out. It's up every Tuesday on G4TV.com.